and welcome back. We're continuing looking at Django and Python, and this time we're going to do a little bit of dynamic adjustment to our some of our buttons and display. We're actually working our way up to reports, and one of the first things I want to do is handle this little challenge here, is that we've got tasks that are complete, and we still have a complete button there, which makes them very redundant. So what we want to do in that case is we want to basically remove that complete button. We're only going to have it if they are not complete. Now we want to go back into that. So this is our task list. So what we're going to do is we're going to go into our task list page, and this is actually going to be a pretty simple change. Is we're going to come in here, and instead of complete, we're just going to wrap that button. And what we're going to do is we're actually going to do we're either going to, just because of the way it's set up, we're going to say that if it's not, if there's no button, we're just going to do a space just to make sure that it knows that, yes, we do have something there. And then all we need to do is we're going to come in here, and it's a very simple kind of equation. We're just going to say if task dot, and the thing that matters is status. And if it is not equal to, I believe we called it complete with a capital C. Yep, if it's not equal to complete, then we're going to have the complete button. Otherwise, we're going to do a space. So if we save that and rerun this, now what we saw here is that the status is not coming out the way we want it to. And the problem here is because this status is actually going to be a status object, a status instance. So instead what we have to do is we have to take a look at our status, and we want to do name. We could do short name, but we'll do name for now. Let's see, wait, where do we go? Oh, let's flip over here to task list, back over here, and we want status.name. It's something that can be tricky in the Django world because you have things that look pretty straightforward, because here we're not actually doing the name. We could, but here it's because it is an instance, it's going to, behind the scenes, use the ToString, which we're going to see if we look at our models, is probably just, yep, it's just the name. So it's actually using that so we can directly we can directly call a value as we do here, or we can basically say, hey, I want you to display it, and it's going to do the string. So that can sort of confuse things a little bit. But now if we run it, then we're going to see that now everything disappeared. Now note that this is based on the name, so we could change this to, I think we called it short name without an underscore. And I think we called that comp. I think it was COMP for the complete ones. And so now we can also do it, yep, same thing, is that we can do it based on the short values, which we have talked about when we were comparing for views. Remember, I think we did that somewhere around here. We did a find. Oh, sorry, not a find, a filter. And oh, I can't find where we did it by short. Oh yeah, we did it up here. We did it like here. We did short names for the get to make sure that we're using sort of our own ID, and so we're going to use that here in this filter as well. So now we do some basic cleaning up here of this list. Now the next step I want to get into is actually starting to work on. Although this is effectively a report, I want to actually get into building a report of some sort for it. What we're going to do is we're just going to steal our about. So we're going to go back, because we don't really need that. So we're going to go back to, I believe that was internal. And about is now going to be, I'm going to call this reports. And we're going to change over, so we're going to have a reports URL, which means we need a reports URL. And we can get rid of our about completely. So we're going to get rid of that about page. And we're going to do reports page. So now if we go into our view, page is going to be reports page. And we're going to do all that. And instead of about page, which we can now get rid of, we are going to do this reports page. And we're going to move that. We're going to roughly base it off of task list. So let's just duplicate that and rename that to reports page. And now reports page is going, oh, if I can open it, there we go. Let's see. So we're probably not going to worry about completing a task. Now we've got a title, so let's go back over to our view here. And we want a reports page. So we wanted to do, there's going to be a title. It's going to be title, and we're going to call that, let's see, where did we do? I don't think we did them as, yeah, so here we just did them as a straight string. So we're going to come back up here. Reports page, set our title. This is going to be, we're just going to call it reports. And we'll call it reports home. We'll do that for now. Let's go back to our report. Let's kill off a couple of these windows. Okay, so we go back to our reports page. And now, let's keep it very simple. If we look here, so we've changed over reports. If we go to reports, it's reports home, and it's not doing anything right now because we didn't send it any data that's useful. So what we want to do is the first thing we're going to do is we're going to have a report selector. And we're going to do this as a, let's see how we want to do this. So that's like so reports home is a 1. Let's just do a little, we'll do it like an H. No, we're just going to do bold. We'll actually make it strong. Well, not string, but strong. And this is going to be, reports. And then we're going to make a list. And we're going to have some options here. And this is going to be a select. Now what we're going to do for now is we're going to keep it simple. We're going to actually hard code our various report options. And we'll just have them like numbered. But then we can come back later and we can make it database driven if we would like. And we may take care of that in this app. We'll have to see if we want to do it. So let's see. The first one we're going to do will be tasks by timeline. And then we want to do tasks by roadmap. And then we want to do, let's just do completed tasks, or let's do tasks by status. And so each of these is going to tweak stuff a little bit. Now we can do this a couple different ways. We can either, and we're going to talk about this, start implementing this on the other side in a next session. But right now, reports. Yeah, okay, that one's good. Right now, we've got reports and it's not sending any kind of parameters. Now what we can do is we could turn around and give it a type. We can give it some parameters because each report is probably going to have a parameter. So we're going to have to think through that a little bit, how we want to do it. We can either have a home page like we have here where we select, and this is, there's two different ways you can do it. But basically here you come in, you select a report, and then maybe have it pull data and provide some parameters and then pull data, like do an update. Or you have a home and then each report has its own page with parameters. Now what we want to do is we want to make it a little simpler. So what we're going to have is we're going to have here, let's see, we want to make this a div. So we're going to actually do this in a couple sections. So at the top, we're going to have our And let's put like a break there just because. And this needs to be, we need to give this an ID. So this is going to be, the ID is going to be report type, because we're going to do some JavaScript in this thing to make it useful. And then let's make this a, and then we're going to come in and have another set, well, we're going to have another row. And this one's going to be ID equals, let's just call him reports selector. We're going to have another row, which is going to be parameters. And then we're going to have down here, we're going to have results. And let's see, that's going to end, let's see, results is going to be our if tasks, blah, 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 blah. And then we're going to come back here and then we'll end that out. So we've got 3 sections. And what we want to do is here, we're going to start out with parameters going to be blank. So we can do class, oh, sorry, that's just going to be style. Display none. And then we're going to, let's just call this, we're just going to put one here right now, which will be, we're just going to do this as some parameters for now, so that we can see it. So when we come in here, we're going to look, then we get our ability to select reports, but there's no parameters right now because that's hidden. Now what we want to do is we're going to actually display parameters based on what our selection is. So we are going to have a script, and we're going to call this, let's see, I don't know if I've got something that's based on a selector real quick. I think I did. So let me try, if I look at like time frame, and it maybe, did I already steal, because I want to see if I can steal one. Well, maybe not. Yeah, because I'm just making that call. Well, I'm actually going to use this a little bit. So let's just start from that. Let's go back to that. Even though I didn't think I was going to use it, I'm going to use it. So I'm not going to call it complete task, though. I'm going to steal this. And right now, well, this one's going to be a little cheap. Let's see. Well, let's do this. I'm going to replicate that because I'm actually going to steal that code. Not in this episode, but in the next session, we're going to talk about this. So the first thing I'm going to do is I want to do select report. And it's going to be by an ID. And then here, let's do on change equals select report. Oh, and actually I don't need, well, I can probably do this. Let's see if I just do ID as, no. I don't want to do that. I'm going to do it this way. I'm not going to pass an ID. I'm just going to grab the here. So I want to grab the ID, and that's going to be equal to my reports selector. And so now that I've got my, oops, that's my selector, and then ID, I'll do a var here, ID equals selector dot value. I think we can get that. Actually, we want, I think it's called selected value. I got to double check that. Okay, this actually, I mean, it's a value. And let's just do this. So I'm going to do, actually, I've done this before to some extent. So the element is going to be parameters. And I'm just going to display them for right now because I'm going to make some display equals equals block. So I'm going to go display it. And let's see. Let's do element dot inner HTML equals ID. So we're just going to sort of mess with this a little bit right now because we're going to be running short on time on this one. So we're going to spill into this in the next episode. So first, let's do this now. If I do a change, it's not triggering anything. So we're going to take a look at that. Select report. So it's not defined. Well, let's see. Select report. Oh, because I have a typo. And now if I run it, there we go. Oh, it's showing the ID. It's not showing the value. So I don't want that in parentheses. I'm sorry, in quotes. So do that. And now, oh, it's not getting the value. So it's not getting the ID right. So I'm going to come back to this selector.value. So I'm going to have to correct this one for some reason. It's not picking that up. Let's see. So here actually is my problem. Is I need selector dot selected index dot value. Let's see if that works out. Oh, sorry, it's dot options. And then if I take that and do this, then now we'll have. Oh, it's still not doing it. Doesn't like that. Here's my problem. It's not the report selector. It's actually report type is what I want to work off of. So it helps get the right type, right names. So now, if I do this, so now I've got my report IDs coming in. And so that's what wraps up this time. It took a little longer than I expected. So what we're going to do is, next episode, we're going to generate one of these reports and talk a little bit about how to do that. So that being said, let's get to it. So have yourself a great day, a great week, and we will talk to you next time.